now joined by Kendra Cocksedge, three-time World Cup winner with the Black Ferns, most capped Black Fern of all time, scored the most points for the Black Ferns in history, a World Rugby Player of the Year, the first female to win the New Zealand Player of the Year. You hold nearly every record there is in Canterbury. Such an opportunity to have you here today. Thanks for your time. I want to take it back to the start. What are your first memories of this game?
The first memories for me would have been, literally running around in bare feet in the Naki. Getting up early, going to play, and I just remember standing on Mum and Dad's feet at half-time because the grass was so cold and icy, or jumping on a fence or something just because it was so cold. Because we didn't wear boots in the Naki back then.
Hearty.
Hearty.
More often than not, find yourself as the only girl playing in a boys' team. What was that like?
Thinking back now, it definitely helped me. I came from a small town, Okator, so, the boys are like my brothers to me because we're all family friends. So if anyone was up to mischief or being mean to me or something, everyone, the parents would know about it or something. So the boys were awesome and they looked after me, and then they worked out I was a bit of a secret weapon as the years kind of went on. And I remember year 7 and 8, we actually had to move. We used to get thrown into the line out, and then the lock would throw it to me in the 5-metre channel, and I scored so many tries because no one expected it.
Just that go-to move that they could never stop.
Yeah.
You talk about people having to step in to defend you, though, like, wasn't always easy.
It's more like talking to my parents around their experiences from the sideline, like hearing other parents being like, oh, there's a girl out there, she can't play. Mum and Dad told me lots of stories about that, but I didn't care what was going on. I just absolutely loved running around on the field. And as I said, my teammates and the boys were, my brothers and looked after me. And I guess probably the most challenging time was I got my hair pulled when I was younger in a game. I had headgear on too, and I had my ponytail out the back, and it got pulled. And I remember, going down to the ground, because that's literally how he tackled me, just because I was running past, and the last thing to grab was my hair. And my team, they kind of got in and around in a bit of pushy shove with the opposition, and they told the opposition to leave me alone, and they looked after me, which was really cool.
From there on to high school, or have I missed a couple of steps?
No, just I guess from growing up through the grades at Waikato and then played at high school. We still played in bare feet all the way through until I basically, went to high school, and year 9 went to New Plymouth Girls High School.
Captain the first 15 and the first 11.
Yep.
So cricket was another love of yours.
I mean, I played a lot of sports through school. I think that's really important to play as much sport as you can while you're there, because once you leave school it kind of disappears. But rugby and cricket were probably my 2 biggest ones. Played a bit of squash, basketball, touch, and enjoyed my last year at school before heading down to Lincoln University.
When you went down to Christchurch, it was not for rugby though.
I applied for both scholarships down there at Lincoln University. So I applied for a cricket and a rugby scholarship. Got given the cricket scholarship, so obviously everything I did down there was based around cricket trainings, and back then, well, even now, cricket's like it's all year round, you have winter trainings and stuff. But little did they know that I was playing rugby as well. Managed to get selected for the Canterbury NPC team, and then got selected for the Black Ferns. But also made the New Zealand A cricket team, but had to start having honest conversations that I was playing rugby too, and that was the first time I actually had to make a decision of where I wanted to go. But I just was loving rugby at that time, and a lot of people say, hey, I wonder where you would have got to if you chose cricket, but I never really think too much about that because I've just had a pretty awesome career with rugby.
The debut for the Black Ferns. Talk to most Black Ferns, All Blacks. It's the debut that they always sort of talk about first in terms of the most fond memories. Is it the same for you?
It really is. Even you just asking, I just get goosebumps. For me, it was 2007. It was actually in Wanganui, which was really cool for me because it was only a couple of hours south of the Naki. So I had a lot of family and friends come down in the crowd. It was against Australia, and I was only 19, so you kind of just roll with it. I was thinking, oh yeah, this will be all good kind of thing. And then there's a lot of almost pressure that comes on in terms of the haka, like having to learn the haka. So that was the biggest thing. You didn't want to get that wrong. But the first thing was obviously singing the anthem. So I was just, oh yeah, man, this is cool. It's something I kind of always dreamed of, so wake up and all times of of the night, watching the All Blacks play overseas and whatnot, and stand and sing proud, do the anthem, and then you kind of get the opportunity to do it yourself. It's like a dream come true. And I'm not a huge emotional person, but I was bawling my eyes out. Like, I just had no control over my emotions whatsoever that game. The tears were flowing, and I feel sorry for the person I was standing next to, because it would have been like ugly cry, ugly voice. Not that I can sing anyway, but no, it was pretty cool. And then so you kind of flick into that, and then you have to sort yourself out, and then you go into the haka, and making sure, my biggest thing is I didn't want to get the actions wrong. I was okay about the words, but didn't want to get the actions wrong. And then I was lucky enough to be coming off the bench in a way, so had that time to sit on the bench and just get myself together and take a few deep breaths and soak up the game. Then I just remember being on the sideline waiting for them to chuck me on, and my family and friends were like going crazy. And then I ran on, and it was a scrum. And I actually just about put the ball on the wrong side of the scrum. It's definitely something that you don't forget. It's kind of very vivid in my mind, because it's just something that I always dreamed of doing, and for that dream to come true was pretty special.
What I love about your story is that people that saw the sort of finished product towards the end, the real polished performer under pressure, it didn't start like that at all. You make your debut, but there are all these legends in the team.
Yeah, I think that's what actually shaped me into the player that I became, is because I spent 9 years behind Emma Jensen, and I just learnt a lot off her, soaked it up, and then having Anna Richards as a 10 as well, so I was just learning so much off her. I was also really scared, like in the first year in the team, like just didn't say much as real, you know, people won't believe that now, because I was always the loud talkative one in the team towards the end of my career. But definitely early on I didn't say boo really, and but just wanted to be there, soak it all up and enjoy it, because I literally had legends all around me.
First World Cup win, 2010?
Yep.
What sort of mark did that leave on you, and what did you learn from that experience?
Yeah, 2010 was awesome. So still obviously surrounded by a lot of legends, knowing that was going to be their last World Cup. I just remember really clearly the World Cup final was against England. We were in England. We were at Twickenham Stoop, a massive crowd. That whole Twickenham Stoop was sold out. So we had a tough day with the referee that day. And we managed to come out and obviously win that, but the game was real tight. I think it was like 9-6 or something. Looking back on that, I'm so stoked that I got to watch the team out there. You know, someone like Renee Woodman-Whitcliffe, she was out there that day and absolutely carving up.
Next World Cup, completely different experience.
2014 was a tough year, a tough World Cup for the Black Ferns. We actually lost in pool play to Ireland. Personally, probably think we may have took that game a little bit too lightly, a little bit complacent with it, and credit to Ireland, they actually played really well. I just remember them, when they found out that we weren't going to get into semis, they felt really bad. But I think that game was a real interesting game, but we just couldn't do anything. Everything was just kind of going wrong and didn't turn out the way we kind of expected it to. So that was huge, and that was the first World Cup that the Black Ferns had lost.
Talk to me about your roles working in the game.
Yeah.
During this period as well.
I've always been so lucky to work in sport that it supported me to do what I've been able to do, because there's some girls that really battled through their career. You know, we've got nurses, we've got teachers. It's been really tough for them to try and get time off work. And then started my role in 2015 with New Zealand Rugby. So yeah, women's participation manager for the South Island. So for me, I was like just living my dream. Every day I got to play rugby, and then I got to give young girls an opportunity to play the game and live the dream that I get to live every day. And I'm still back into it now, and I love it. And there's so many more girls. Like, I go down and watch rugby, and sometimes it's just all girls' grades now, and I'm just like, wow, like what even is this? Because for me it was, you know, just me and the boys. So it's come a long way, and it's been an awesome journey to be part of that off the field as well. And I'll continue to lead the way, and making sure that girls can be able to play at any age and any stage.
Kelvin R. Tremaine Memorial Trophy. What does that mean to you?
It was a big year for me that year. I actually thought about retiring after 2017 World Cup. And then I remember talking to DJ Forbes, and I said, hey, like, when did you know it was time to retire? Because I had no idea. I thought you just picked a time and just did it, you know? He said to me, trust me, you'll know. And then I was like, okay, I don't really know yet if I'm asking you the question. And then turned around, 2018, probably the best year of my career. obviously Canterbury, successful Canterbury that year as well, and then just going to the awards and taking out all the awards. And for me, the rugby's not about that. Rugby's not about those individual accolades. I couldn't do it without my team, but it was pretty special that evening. There was a lot. And I can talk through the whole evening in terms of, got the Whio Whamasili medal, which is the Wharapama Cup Player of the Year, and then went up on stage and was New Zealand Women's Player of the Year. And I remember sitting up there, and the Kelvina Tremaine was next. My name got called out, and the whole crowd was just standing up, a standing ovation. And I was just like, whoa, like my whole body was like shaking. Grant Robinson was presenting the award, and I just remember him saying to me, it's really heavy, so just be ready for it, because it was heavy, and if he didn't tell me, I'd probably fallen over probably. But and then you kind of get off stage and you're just straight into the media room, and it's just going crazy. There's just cameras everywhere and people asking you questions, the first woman to do it, how does it feel? But you kind of go through that, but at the same time, you can't do it without your teammates. And it was almost life-changing in a way, like not just for myself, but for women and for women in sport and women in rugby.
Speaking of breaking down barriers, 2021 World Cup final, played in 22. That was the one, right?
That was incredible. Doing what we did, coming from losing 4 tests at the end of 2021 to turning around and winning a World Cup that I don't think anyone thought we were going to do because of coming off the back of that. And we just progressed throughout the year, and then when we beat France, that was the biggest thing for me. The poor girl missing the kick. But I was just like, oh my gosh. I think there's a photo that's gone viral of me jumping up in the air because the adrenaline was pumping, because at that moment I was like, man, she do this at home in front of a home crowd. And yeah, it was close, but who would have known that a week later we'd do the same thing and win in the last minute of the game. But yeah, that was massive for New Zealand, for young females, for the team, and not just young females, young males, even older males. The whole mindset's changed around the game now, which is pretty cool.
Well, it's a remarkable story, and it's added to a rich history of sport in this country, and you were a huge part of it. So, Kendra Cocksedge, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Cheers.
Thank you.